Hey guys, today I'll be talking about the tier 10 premium Russian cruiser, the Moskva, and the tier 9 Pan-Asian cruiser, the Tianjin. So let's start off with the Moskva. So first of all, I got this ship from an event earlier in this month where if you got enough wins and battles, then you could get keys, and once you had 10 keys you were guaranteed a Moskva. So I got about halfway through that, but the event was coming to an end. So I just spent 10k to get the rest of it, and that's actually a pretty good price for a tier 10 premium, so that's why I got the Moskva. So let's start off with sling skills. So you get 3 precise aiming 2s, 2 air defense alert 1s, and 1 radar 2. So looking at the stats here, you have 46k HP, which is pretty good for a cruiser at this tier, but your damage reduction and citadel protection and other your tankiness overall just isn't very good. In fact, it's quite on the weaker side. This is combined with your maneuverability, which is pretty bad. 35 knots is pretty fast for a big cruiser like this one, but as you can see from the profile here, Moskva is a really big ship, and so it has bad turning and bad acceleration, so your maneuverability is just bad overall. The main weapon of this thing is the guns. You get 9 220mm guns, which have just over 10-second reload, 14 km range, which is really good, and just over 1000 damage. But you do a 5-degree turret traverse, which is really bad, especially for a cruiser. Your secondaries, you have 8 of them with a 5-second reload, 130mm. They do just under 400 damage, and just think of it like you basically have a Kaba strapped to you, which is like not bad. And as you can see, they're the center line, so they can fire to both sides, so you can get all 8 on target at once. Your AA is about 200 for value, which is pretty bad for a tier 10 cruiser, and your concealment with concealment mod is just under 10 km. So the Moskva is a sniper essentially. Because of how big the ship is and how bad the maneuverability is, you don't want to get close. And also how bad the turret traverse is. You want to take advantage of your 14 km range and the fact that these guns are pretty hard hitting, and just snipe from range. So because I don't have APCS right now, I have to aim for like battle stern or superstructure to actually like not bounce, but I'm sure once you get APCS it'll be slightly easier too, against battleships at least. But cruisers are your main target because these guns hit pretty hard against cruisers which don't have that good armor. Against destroyers, ideally you load HE to hit them, especially at like around like 8 km, but I usually have AP loaded because I don't have APCS right now, so I usually have AP loaded when I shoot at destroyers at longer ranges, because some of those full pans will do 1000 damage to them. So moving on, let's talk about the Tianjin next. So looking at the skills for Tianjin, you get 2 scout plane 2s, and you also get 2 ADA 2s, and yeah, you also one more thing, you also get an additional DCP, which is like pretty useless, I'm not gonna lie. So looking at his stats here, you have 38k HP. Your defense is looking slightly better compared to the Moskva, and as you can see from this profile, it's a bit lower in the water than the Moskva, I believe. Yeah, you can see the size difference. The Moskva is longer a ship and it's a bigger ship, while the Tianjin is smaller and more compact, and also closer to the waterline. So your maneuverability is about on par with Moskva, and yeah, you move about half a knot faster, I think. For your guns, you also have 9 220mm, but now you have a 14-second reload. And keep in mind this is tier 9, so this ship is slightly weaker than Moskva. You get a 13.5 km range, and your AP damage is about at 1200, which is higher than Moskva. Your turret traverse is at 7 degrees, and you have 12 130mm guns, also with a 5-second reload, same damage as Moskva secondaries. And these ones though, they're not all center line, so some of them are on the side while some of them are on center. So I believe that you can get about 6 or 8 guns to hit at once on one side. Your AA is at around like 250, 300, and your concealment's at 9.5 km. So the Tianjin is actually quite a similar ship to Moskva, and that's why I put them both together in this video. You're also a sniper in the Tianjin, and the main thing is this thing's tier 9 and you have a scout plane, so you can theoretically get higher ranges than Moskva with the scout plane, but without it you have a lower range. But one main difference is the reload. So let's go over the comparison actually. So I have both ships here, let's compare. So as you can see from the skill difference, Tianjin gets AA Alert 2, which isn't that big of a difference, and the main thing is Scale Plane 2. So you get 2 boosts to your range by 16%, while Moskva gets Radar 1, or Radar 2, and PA 2. So both these ships are actually pretty accurate, and that's one hidden stat that isn't shown, is that the dispersion on both these ships is quite good, with the Moskva being slightly better I think overall because you have PA. But Tianjin is also quite good. Comparison here, Moskva gets more HP, but Tianjin gets better damage reduction. And looking at the CIC website, I saw that Tianjin also had like better armor than Moskva overall, and that goes for the entirety of the petrol line too. Looking at the stats here, the Moskva's maneuverability is actually slightly better, but you're also slightly slower in the Moskva. So very similar maneuverabilities. Your guns, Moskva has a much faster reload at 10.5, while Tianjin has shells that do more damage by about 200. So this kind of balances out, so that Tianjin's damage output is actually still pretty decent, but Moskva just has a faster reload. And as you can see, Tianjin gets about half a kilometer less range. Your secondaries, they're about the same, honestly. And AA, Tianjin actually has slightly better AA, along with ADA too, so Moskva's AA is honestly kind of lacking. And for concealment, Tianjin is about 0.5 km less concealment. So as you can see, these two ships are very similar. And yeah, okay. This thing also gets one additional DCP, but that doesn't matter. So overall, the playstyle of these two ships is very similar, where you want to sit back and snipe with both of them. Tianjin, you can play a bit more aggressive because 1, your turret traverse is better than Moskva, and 2, your armor is also slightly better, but it's by no means like that good. It's like still worse than Petrol, I guess. Petrol's like quite tanky for a cruiser, while Tianjin is like around the same as Riga, so not that tanky, but it's still better than Moskva. So yeah, the main thing you want to do is sit back and snipe. Cruisers are your ideal target because they do have like less armor than battleships, so your guns will actually do quite well against them. A lot of opens. And against battleships, you want to aim for the bow, stern, or superstructure to get like more damage, because hitting the belt will you can't really do anything. Your guns aren't strong enough for that. So against destroyers, as I mentioned earlier in Moskva, you can fire AP at it. For Tianjin, you can also fire AP at destroyers, but with a 14-second reload, it's like not really recommended, I guess. But definitely load HE if they come under like 8 km. So now let's go over the build. For Moskva, for ship bonus, not a question. This elite bonus is for you. So 1% HP is the max you're getting from this. You definitely want Advanced Gun Director to boost your range by 4%. For the camo, the historical camo here is a standard battleship camo, which is actually pretty good for the Moskva because of that dispersion and range. But I'm just running this free camo I have lying around. For battle honors, Moskva was actually used to be a tech tree for those of you who don't know, but then it was turned into a premium and replaced with Nevsky, Alexander Nevsky. So these premium, they never changed the battle honors basically. So you have the old tech tree battle honors for tier 10s compared to premiums, which just have actually let me show you. So for something like the Foot Clan, right, which is the Schlieffen clone, for your battle honors, you just have play 10 battles and then some sort of other mission, which will earn you 6 titanium. While in tech tree battleships, you just have the standard grindy battle honors. So yeah, the first one is win 20, and then do 1.8 mil, and then destroy 40 enemy cruisers, 300 fires, which is going to be pretty difficult, and 105k in one battle. Yeah, okay, so for your supplies, I'm running improved crew rations, preventive maintenance, and refined diesel. You could run high grade coal instead of preventive maintenance for more concealment, but I think with the nature of this ship, I think preventive maintenance will work better. For equipment, I'm running main battery mod 3 for even better dispersion. You could argue for turret traverse to get slightly better, but since 5 degrees is already so low, I don't think 20% of that is going to do that much in the grand scheme of things, so I'd rather just be even more accurate. Second slot, concealment, propulsion as standard, and third slot, concealment, because like I said, this thing's armor is actually quite bad, so you want to bring that concealment down so that you're not the first one spotted. But you won't be using concealment as much as something like, let's say, a destroyer or Mino, right? So I'm just running this concealment for that initial early game, but that's the reason I'm not running high grade coal, because I don't think concealment 10% concealment is valuable, but -3 isn't that valuable in my opinion. You could argue steering if you're just going to be always opened up in the Moskva and shooting, but I personally find concealment more valuable. For the commander here, I'm just running a random FA commander I have, which was Dr. Tesla. But you could also run like something like Kuznetsov, which gives it extra radar. But yeah, so for the skills, underwater protection, torpedo alert, artillery maintenance. AEA is honestly a questionable skill, but I'm just gonna pretend like this is my Nevsky commander for the future, or like Petro commander. Actually, let's say Nevsky, yeah. So yeah, Survivalist Plus. You could run Fire Supremacy with extra PA, but I don't think that's necessary because Moskva is already so accurate. So might as well just go Survival. Generalist. You definitely want to go Marksman here so you can use your PAs more. Right now, I can only get 2 PAs off, or 2 salvos off with my precise aiming in Moskva, but with Marksman I should be able to get 3. AR here, and then Demo Expert, because your secondaries aren't that good. Honor Seeker, definitely want APCS because you can do a lot more damage to battleships and cruisers with this. And either Horizontal Deck Protection or Citadel Strike. Either or, it doesn't really matter, in my opinion. And then you want to go down the green tree, yeah. Greased Gears, probably either Armor Piercer or Specialist, and then Active Reload, definitely. So now moving over to Tianjin. The build is very similar for this ship. Again, okay, this time you actually have an option between Elite Gun Operator or Advanced Gun Director. And while EGO is always decent, I think having even more range is always better because it means you can shoot at enemies further away. And range is just good in general. For the camo, again, it is a standard battleship camo, so for the same reason as Moskva, this camo would actually be pretty good to buy. And for supplies, same arguments could be for Moskva. Equipment is the same, and for the same reasons as Moskva. Commander here, you basically want the same build as Moskva, except you don't need a spec into Marksman because you don't have precise aiming. And I ran Battlefield Support because, like, this commander is basically just only built for the Tianjin because there's no other similar tech trees to it. Like, Genon's very different than they're very different playstyle than this. So I just ran it with extra ADA and to boost my ADA a bit. But that's honestly questionable considering the air or the AA of this thing. So you could just run these 2 skills instead. Otherwise, the build should be similar to Moskva. Yeah, go down the green tree. So yeah, that's the Moskva and the Tianjin, and those are the builds I would go with them. Overall, these 2 ships they're very good at sniping, but again, that kind of limits their playstyle because Moskva especially can't really do those close range battles, while Tianjin can deal with them slightly more. So yeah, so now let's move on to the 2 games. I have 1 game for the Moskva and 1 game for the Tianjin. So in the first game here, we're up against ARP Musashi, Napoli, Worcester, Neptune, Shima, Fletcher, Jutland, and on my team we have Jinan, Prince Rupert, Seattle, Somers, Yugumo, and Jutland, and we're on Cage Epicenter. So right now I spawned near the center, so I think I'm just gonna go out to the side or maybe play in the center a bit. We'll see. So the Moskva, as you can see, if you look at the concealment to range ratio, the concealment isn't that good. It's at around 10 km, and it'd be worse if I didn't run concealment mod. So that's why I ran concealment mod, so I wouldn't be the first one spotted, hopefully. And hopefully like it's my battleship or something. So I'm trying to angle myself towards the outside because I don't want to be caught in a sniping battle with battleships, because you're not going to win that in the Moskva, I'm telling you right now. So my destroyers look like they're coming into the center, and my battleship looks like they're going on the other flank. So since my battleship's going on the other flank, I decide to like play near the center, I guess, because also there's a Shima spot out there. So yeah, I guess I'm turning in because I don't want to be caught in a 1v1 against Shima. And yeah, since they're at around like over 8 km, might as well just open up on them with AP. And as you can see, I got 2 overpens and 1 full pen. So this AP has decent pen, so shooting at destroyers might net you some overpens at longer ranges. And at close range, make sure you switch to HE. So next target's Worcester, and this is a better target for me because cruisers are the ideal target in this thing, especially light cruisers. And that was a pretty badly aimed salvo, or actually it was pretty decent, 8 shells. And as you can see, I got a Citadel and some full pens and some other stuff. So now I use the PA, and since I have a 10.5 second reload and this thing PA only lasts 20 seconds, I can only get 2 salvos off. So that's why I need marksman, so that I can get 3 salvos off of PA. But I just keep shooting at this Worcester because they're not really turning or anything. So yeah, clash out, it's some full pens, some semi pens. So I think I need to actually lead a bit more here because Worcester's pretty far away. But one more thing is, with these Russian cruiser shell arcs, they're usually very low and flat. So that makes lobbing over islands kind of difficult, but also makes aiming pretty easy, or much easier than like if you're playing a Worcester, for example. So I actually knocked out the Worcester's module, or his gun, so that's pretty cool. But now Shima's getting closer, so I need to start like backing away and going bow in, and hopefully I'll take the torpedoes. I'm gonna fire some AP here, and this is where you can use the radar. It goes up to 8.2 km, I believe. No, 8.1. So Shima's definitely close enough for that. And I actually didn't switch over to HE at this point because Shima's actually not that healthy. But as you can see, there's a lot of overpens and only some full pens. So under around like 8 km, I think you should definitely switch to HE on the Moskva. If you don't have APCS, if you do have APCS, probably switch to HE at any time you're shooting at the destroyer. But Worcester's back and they're HE spamming me. Or is that AP? Let me see. That's AP. They're AP spamming me, so I'm just gonna might as well hurt them back. Like, because this is a fight that I can easily take. Especially since Worcester's pushing closer. So I can aim my shells even easier. And Worcester seems to not really know how to lead. Or I'm backing up, so he's not really leading properly, so that's good. But I actually got an overpen on Worcester there, so yeah. This thing definitely has decent pen. So I'll use my PA again. And Worcester's around half health, so I think I can finish them off. And I think my team can probably deal with whatever's going on center, because I'm not built to deal with destroyers. Luckily my Javelin launched some torpedoes to get the Worcester to go away, or to turn away, so this is where I can definitely make it hurt, because you see how accurate that salvo was? This means that Worcester can get less guns on me while I can still get a lot of damage onto them, or hit a lot of shells. So yeah, I'm just sitting here and sniping, and there's actually 2 citadels, which is pretty good. Moskva has a 200% citadel rate as at most heavy cruisers, so that just means around 2k damage for a citadel. And yeah, there goes the Worcester. So as you can see, it's just like consistent damage, especially against cruisers. And with doing 1000 damage per shell, you can melt cruisers pretty quickly. Or over time, I mean. So now I'm fighting an ARP Musashi who's like full broadside. So as you can see, when I aim for the bow there, I actually got like some full pens, some semi pens, but no bounces. So that's the main thing you want to do against battleships. So now I'm going to try to aim at the superstructure, and we'll see how that goes. You have a 6.7 km gun rate, secondary range. Oh, so funny for secondaries, but yeah, that Javelin just ran away. So as you can see there, I got some bounces and stuff on the Musashi, so that one honestly wasn't the best salvo. Here when I hit the bow, it was better, but honestly my aiming's kind of bad right now. And Musashi's shooting back at me obviously, so I gotta turn bow in, take less shells. And at this point, I'm just gonna start shooting at destroyers because Musashi is outside my range. Looking at this Fletcher, they slow down, but they're going forward again, so yeah, I should lead more there. There's actually 2 cruisers on the flank right now. One is a Napoli, I know, so that would honestly be a better target than these destroyers. But the one that's in my range is going behind the island, unfortunately. So yeah, the Neptune. That'd be a pretty good target actually. So yeah, I'm just gonna shoot at the ARP Musashi again because I'm tired of shooting at these destroyers. He's going forward again, so hopefully he just stays still for a bit. So I just aim at his bow. And there's bounce and a full pen and 2 semi pens. So yeah, this thing's honestly, it's not that good against battleships. Or more armored battleships, right? Or maybe I'm just bad at aiming, honestly. But with APCS, you can definitely do more. I've definitely citadel battleships before, so I think it really depends how close you get. Like at max range, you're definitely not that good against battleships. But once you get to around like 11 and a half or under km or under, then you can honestly do better. Yeah, as you can see there, some of my shells just went in straight into the belt, so I got some bounces and some semi-pens. And the Musashi's still shooting that back at me, but they missed because I guess I used my maneuverability somehow. So as you can see, this is just very standard like sniping cruiser playstyle. You move forward a bit, you make sure you're not sitting still, you just move around, play around with your throttle a bit, play around with your throttle to get the battleship to miss you. I only hit 1 shell there, which is pretty bad. And yeah, you just try to dodge battleship shells. And yeah, Musashi misses again. So as you can see there, I actually got a bunch of full pens and a citadel on Musashi. So you can definitely damage battleships. It just really depends on how you aim at them. And since Musashi's going by the island, I see a Napoli out here on the flank. So this is a much better target for me because it's a cruiser, even though it's pretty well armored. Still, they're also pretty low, so might as well just try to get rid of them. Yeah, and there's only 30 seconds left, and my team, even though we have less ships, we definitely have way more points. So I think this is a pretty secure win, especially since I'm at full health, not close to dying, and our Prince Rupert's also pretty healthy. So this Napoli's like, he doesn't stand a chance against me and Prince Rupert. this guy's within secondary range of the Prince Ruby. Oh, but yeah, you see that salvo that just hit me? That was the Musashi from range, so yeah. So I actually make a mistake here and don't let my back turret get onto Musashi. Or not Musashi, sorry, onto Napoli, so this means we can't actually kill this guy, which is unfortunate, but oh well, it is what it is. And yeah, I ended the game with 99k Battlestar. So as you can see, basically all that game I just sat at the back sniping, and you want to prioritize cruisers because they're your main target, so you can definitely do a lot of damage to them. But obviously there's an enemy like Battleship or something pushing in, you want to help your team with that. So you can see Battlestar, Big Cow, First Strike, yeah. And you can see most of my damage all came from main guns. And on my team, yeah. So Moskva's a very like sniping ship, and you honestly are, it's a pretty like selfish ship because you're just sniping at basically, not really supporting the team, but it's fun to do that sometimes, you know. And yeah, now we're gonna move on to the second game. So in the second game here, I'm up against Black Monty, Conqueror, Fionnhodgson, Yodo, Ibuki, Sommers, and Kleber. My team with Rigolo, Fletcher, Incomp, Vermont, and GK, and my teammate who's in the Worcester, or my fleet mate. So we weren't actually divvying up for this game, we just play at the same time and we end up in the same game on the same team. So yeah, that's nice. So I spawned in the center here, so I'm probably just gonna turn towards A-cap because, well, I don't want to be caught in the center tanking, and also I kind of trust my fleet mate more than these randoms, so might as well go on the same flank as them, right? So yeah, I'm just trying to turn left towards A-cap, and as you can see, the turret turret is already much faster than the Moskva. This is at 7 degrees compared to 5. So in Tianjin you can get like with more, you can play some more aggressive plays. Like normally in Moskva I'd be staying further back, but in Tianjin I'm moving forward a bit. Or I'd play a bit more forward than the Moskva. Also because you have lower range. So the main difference is that you have a 14-second reload compared to the Moskva's 10-second reload, but your shells hit harder. And I'm just kind of slowing down behind this island to like block myself, because you can see with the concealment it's not that good either on this thing. It's only 25k better than Moskva. And right now Kleber is spotted, and Ibuki is also spotted back there. So Ibuki is a cruiser, this thing has 220s which are good against cruisers, might as well open up against Ibuki. And as you can see from the first cell here, yeah, you do about almost 1.2k damage per shell on a full pen, which is more than Moskva. So you can also chunk cruisers with this thing, even though you have a slightly longer reload. So the Tianjin's accuracy is actually like slightly, or it's worse. Oh yeah, as you can see another Citadel, that's a very good cell against Ibuki. And this is one, and as you can see I'm just trying to finish off, and I just missed because Ibuki's turning. So as I was saying with the accuracy, Moskva has better accuracy in some aspects, like the Sigma is higher on Moskva, or 2 on Moskva compared to Tianjin 1. And I think Moskva has better Moskva has worse minimum and maximum dispersion, but it's better vertical, yeah. And this is a moment where scale plane is useful because if we could exit in my range, but I can still get range on them by using scale plane. And you can see another Citadel, a full pen, and a 7 pen, so I know that Ibuki is almost dead at this point. But they just went unconcealed, or they're just concealed up so I can't shoot at them anymore, so I'll just shoot at Fionnhodgson, who would normally be outside my range. But with scale plane I can get stuff, I can shoot at them. So the scale plane lasts for 30 seconds, and you have a 14-second reload. So theoretically, you can get 3 salvos off with it, but realistically, you'll mostly only get 2, because, well, the animation of when it goes up often like takes a while to get used to. Oh, and as you can see there, I hit the Clever, a bunch of full pens there, so I actually killed the Clever there. So yeah, one thing about having better or a bigger salvo or more damage per shell is that your alpha is higher, which means you can nuke out destroyers easier compared to the Moskva. So as you can see, the Fionnhodgson is really far away sniping, so I'm just gonna turn towards them and head towards them because not much I can do here. Or I can go towards B cap. Yeah, I think I'll go towards B cap. Maybe help with that battleship over there. So this is where scalping would have honestly be useful to hit battleships, but since you only have 2 of them, it's kind of limiting. So Wargaming, please add a commander skill that adds extra scalping, because something like Tianjin, which only has 2, it's so sad. Please, I need 3 in this thing. So I think that's a Black Montana right there, so yeah, might as well just start shooting at them, get some more damage in. And yeah, my entire team shooting at this guy, so this guy should die pretty quickly. So as you can see there, some 7 pens, a bounce, and a full pen, and that went into the stern of the Montana, so honestly I'm not sure how much the difference between the pen with these 2 ships are, but yeah, sometimes I feel like Tianjin has better pen, or it's about the same. Yeah, since you have a long reload and you hit harder. That might just be placebo, honestly. But at this point, I'm gonna try to use Scalpel and hit that Yodo, and they're turning back in, so hopefully those shells hit. And now they're finally in my Scalpel range. And yeah, turns out they actually turned back into where I aimed, so I actually hit the Yodo somehow, which is pretty impressive, or pretty surprising. But now they're going to the island, behind an island, and even though your view is elevated in Scalpel, you have to remember that your shell arcs aren't. And since this thing is based off a Riga hull, so Russian cruiser hull, your shell arcs are gonna be very flat, so that's why I only hit one shell on them. And now these black mods here. I think, did I get the kill? Yeah, I do get the kill. Sorry, Attila. I just stole the kill there, but oh well. Yeah, I'll just take it. So at this point, I don't know where the enemy destroyers, probably around sea cap somewhere, and the cruiser and battleship are like south, so that's pretty far away. So I know that the Sun Yat-sen ran away, so I might as well just go after them because damage. And I'm pretty sure my team has, yeah, there's a destroyer down there too, but I'm sure my team has that covered. So we have most of the caps. So I'm just going to go looking for the Sun Yat-sen at this point. And also this is one of my first few games, so I honestly wasn't sure how tanky this ship was. I was thinking this was closer to like a Petrol than a Moskva, because Petrol's a pretty tanky ship. But turns out this thing's armor is closer to Moskva, so yeah, unfortunate. So I'm just going to go bow into the Sun Yat-sen, because they only have 6 guns. I know it's pretty accurate, but hopefully they hit my bow and do overruns. But I still have to aim for the bow of the Sun Yat-sen because my penetration isn't good enough to like consistently go through superstructure. But I can do 1000 damage to the bow per shell, so that's pretty good. Yeah, first salvo from the Sun Yat-sen there. Could have been worse, honestly. That did less damage than I thought it would. And hopefully they just keep getting unlucky and don't do that much damage again. So I'm just gonna keep backing up away from them. And hopefully they hit my bow because they don't lead enough. And yeah, just as I predicted, they hit my bow and some shells fell short. So I'm just gonna keep going backwards, keep backing up, yeah. And just bide my time because I see like I have an incomp between B and C cap, so hopefully they can come help me out later. And that took out a secondary with that salvo. That's okay. So now that I'm stuck against the island, might as well just go forward. Hopefully incomp comes to save me soon, otherwise I don't think I'm winning this brawl against Sun Yat-sen. But you know, if I don't commit, I won't get that much damage, so gotta commit to the fight, you know. And another salvo Sun Yat-sen, they aim to my right, so they miss. Or dispersion to screw them over there, I don't know. But yeah, at this point, I'm just gonna try to get all my guns off. Incomp's trying HE for some reason, not sure why. But I'm just gonna keep trying to aim at the bow. And this salvo's probably gonna hurt from incomp. Oh, Sun Yat-sen. Yeah, that hurt quite a bit, 10k damage. But I'm still alive, and hopefully they got distracted incomp, so now I can aim at the stern of the Sun Yat-sen. And I believe I'm almost within secondary range, so I might as well get those going. These secondaries are honestly not bad. They're about the same as Moskva's. They're like, since you have a 5-second reload on them, and you have like, or I should have 8 of them, same with Moskva, then yeah, they're actually like having a Kava strap to your side, or slightly less damage Kava, so they're actually pretty good for helping do extra damage in brawls and also finishing off destroyers. And I survived with 1.9 HP here, and we win the game. So close to killing Sun Yat-sen though. And my fleet main, the Worcester, gets MVP. But I did 87k and 2 kills, which is actually pretty good. So one thing is, my Tianjin average is actually higher than my Moskva average right now, which is surprising because I guess I've been getting better match rate here in Tianjin, or I'm just more comfortable in it. So that's a weird thing, but hopefully I can get my Moskva average up. And as you can see at the end of the game here, yeah, I got second on the team. My teammate got MVP with 102k, and the rest of our team all did okay. Not sure how the Apatilo got third place though with 34k. And yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Would I recommend these ships? I would say the Moskva, or if you're looking for a sniper, definitely don't get both. If I didn't mention it, I haven't mentioned it yet, but I got Tianjin from the New Year's event when I was just rolling like random keys that I got from the event for some grinding. So I got this thing luckily, so that was nice. But this thing is very similar to Moskva, so definitely don't get both. If you're looking for like an accurate, consistent sniper where you just play the back of the map most of the time, then get the Moskva, because it's very good against cruisers if you're looking to kill cruisers. I say Tianjin with it's slightly better armor, but like worse range and scale plane is a bit more versatile. It's a bit closer to Petrol, but it's like not that tanky. So you're looking for like a decent sniper at tier 9, or honestly just a decent, well-rounded tier 9 ship, then Tianjin I would recommend. Otherwise, thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day.